Hi, I'm Angie.
And I'm Alex.
To me, money is so cool. When I have money, I like what I can do with it. The problem is, money just seems to disappear the minute I get it.
So, want to make the most of your money? Want to learn the secret to buying what you need or want and having money left over to save? Well, it might seem tough, but really, you can. With the hands-on banking program, you'll see how banks can help you every step of the way.
First, in You and Your Money, you'll find out where money comes from and how it measures value. You'll see what goes on in a bank and how banks help you manage your money. Plus, you'll see how you can make more money by increasing your earning power.
Ever wonder where your money goes? In budgeting, you'll learn how to make your dollars go farther. Putting yourself in control of your money is a smart way to help you get what you want, faster.
Ever thought about having a savings account? And in the future, a checking account? In savings and checking, you'll see how these bank products can help you save your money and pay for things.
In Credit and You, you'll find out how credit cards and loans can help you get money fast. But the trick is, you've got to pay it back.
Now imagine your money multiplying. It can. Learn the first steps to take in smart investing. When you're ready to get started, just click on You and Your Money. So you're here to take charge of your money, right? In this lesson, we're going to take a look at money itself. Hard currency. Where does it come from? What do banks do with money, especially your money? We'll also look at the concept of value. How value is a good way to decide whether you want to buy something or not. Finally, we'll look at what we can do now to earn more money later. More money? Now that's worth waiting for. So let's get started. Aside from being fun to have, money helps you get through everyday life. Money is how we measure value. And the cash and coins, also called currency, are what we use every day to pay for goods and services. Most countries have their own currency. In North America alone, there's the Canadian dollar in Canada, the US dollar in the US, and in Mexico, the peso. Ever wonder where all those coins and bills come from in the US? Well, it's created, or minted, by the Treasury of the federal government. The Treasury carefully controls how many dollars and coins are distributed. When you think about it, money is the glue that binds products, services, and people together in our economy. The engine of the economy runs on the things and ideas people create, but money is what allows people to create and then buy those creations. Money moves through lots of hands in the economy. As you'll see next, money moves in sort of a circle, and it always passes through banks. Maybe you've heard the expression, money makes the world go round. Well, that pretty much describes the way money moves in society, sort of in a circle. Check this out. Money gets to the bank from lots of sources. First, we know it starts at the Treasury, which keeps banks supplied with the money they need for their customers. But there's also money that's already in the economy. You know, money from other sources, such as individuals and businesses. That money also goes to banks. So you see how money gets to the bank, leaves the bank, goes through the economy, and then returns again to the bank. Money recycles. Let's say your grandmother gives you $20 for your birthday, and you decide to keep it safe at the bank, in an account. The bank then pays you to keep your money in that account. It's called interest. It's like getting something for nothing. We'll explore the wonderful world of interest and savings accounts later. For now, let's look at what happens with the money in your account. Introducing Mr. X, who comes to the bank for a loan to buy a car. He's a good customer because he watches his money carefully. The bank is sure he'll repay his loan, and they give him one. Mr. X is a happy customer. Your money, and money from lots of other bank customers, gets paid to Mr. X in the form of a car loan. If anyone has ever given you a loan, chances are you repaid them what you owed them, right? Well, maybe. But when banks lend you money, you have to repay them with even more money. Mr. X will have to pay every penny back. Plus, he'll have to pay interest. There's that word interest again. That's right. Interest works both ways. You earn it if you're saving money, and you pay it if you're borrowing money. So Mr. X now pays the car dealer for his new car. On his way home, Mr. X fills up the tank at the gas station and then buys some car supplies. With each purchase, Mr. X's money changes hands once again. The gasoline and car supply merchants use Mr. X's money to pay their expenses and their workers' paychecks. And then, of course, everyone takes their money, once again, back to the bank. Mr. X's money has gone full circle. Now that you've seen the role of banks, do you see why they're almost everywhere? Things just can't get done without them. But what about you? How do banks help you? First, banks keep your money safe. They set you up with accounts, like a savings account, for keeping your money safe and making it grow with interest. Banks also set up checking accounts, usually for adults over 18, so they can pay for, say, groceries or bills, using paper checks, not cash. We'll learn more about checks in Savings and Checking. Another way banks help you is by giving you a loan for expensive things, like cars. When people get loans from the bank, they're using everyone's money, so each borrower has a big responsibility to pay back the loan. Plus, they pay interest back to the bank. Pay interest? That's right. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Another way banks can help you is by issuing you a credit card. Credit cards are like loans, but you may pay a higher interest rate for them. And with credit cards, you can also buy many different things. With loans, generally they're used to buy one thing in particular. And finally, if you want to see your money grow over time, say for college, banks can help you with investment accounts. We'll look into those in Smart Investing. Once you're set up with accounts at a bank, how do you get to your money so you can use it? How do you give the bank even more money if you want to? And then, how do you keep track of it? Banks are there to help you. They've made it easy. For example, they've made it convenient to get your money 24 hours a day. You can get cash, add cash or checks, and transfer money between accounts, either at a bank, over the phone, at an automated teller machine, or ATM for short, even at banks located in some grocery stores. No matter how you access your money, banks make it easy to see where your money is and how much you have. They make it easy to be a good money manager. So let's get back to what we all want. Money. Do you save it? Do you spend it the minute you get it? I don't know about you, but when I really want something, it's hard not to spend it and spend it fast. So I try to spend my money on what I really want, like going out with my friends. To me, that has value. I try not to buy snacks so I can save for the movies or for shopping with my friends. I give up some things to get other things. To me, that's important. Another way to look at value is through its price tag. Have you ever noticed that the same item can cost more or less depending on where you buy it? Do you shop around until you get the best deal? Well, I know it really pays to look around and find out if you can get better value for your money. Your money will go further, so you'll have more money in your pocket for other things. How much can you save on your next purchase? Try some comparison shopping for yourself. Now comes the big question. How can you, a teenager like me, make more money? Sure, it's great to earn allowance or babysitting money now. But what about when we're older? How do we increase our earning power? It's a fact. People with higher education and more skills earn more money on the job than those with less education and fewer skills. So start planning now. Education will be the most important factor, but your skills will matter a lot too. Like skills in computers or languages or math and science or writing. One reason I'm saving for a computer is so I can develop really strong computer skills. They'll be useful no matter what field I eventually get into. So start boosting your earning power now. Get education and skills on your side. It will pay off. As you can see, if you use the bank like a tool, managing your money is actually very simple. Lots of people use banks, and the money that flows in and out of banks makes a lot of things possible, like paychecks, homes, computers, tuition payments, and even something as simple as a movie ticket. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this unit. We've learned a lot about money. Aside from that, it's really fun to have. Now let's look at another tool for getting the most from your money.
Thing you really want. Do you have a plan for getting it? If you don't, stop dreaming and start making it happen with a budget. Budgeting helps you reach your financial goals, especially if there are big things you're planning to buy. You know me, I'm saving for a computer, but I also like going out with my friends and buying clothes and games. How can I save for the big stuff without totally giving up having fun? I need a budget. Do you? Now let's take a closer look at the expenses in my budget. There are 3 different types of expenses, and understanding each of them can help you decide what's important as you watch your budget. The first kind of expense is a fixed expense. These are expenses you really can't control because they're necessary. Adults usually have fixed expenses, like rent or car payments. They occur regularly and don't change from month to month. The second kind of expense is called a flexible expense. Like fixed expenses, flexible expenses occur regularly, and they're expenses that you can't really get around. The difference is that with flexible expenses, you have some control over how much you spend. Adults, for example, have to spend money on electricity or groceries, but can make choices over how much they spend. The third kind of expense is called a discretionary expense. This is money that you choose to spend, like money for games or movies or having pizza with friends, or even the money that you save. So far, all of my expenses are discretionary, but I try to think of my college fund as a fixed expense. Remember, your budget is a general plan. If your expenses change, or if you have an emergency expense, your budget will have to change too. So try to allow yourself a few dollars left over every month for pocket change or to help pay for the unexpected. So that's just a little glimpse of my budget. When we get older and live on our own, there will be so much more to budget for and keep track of. That's when a budget requires even more planning. Come on, let's take a look. Now that you have your own budget, you're in control of your money. Want some tips for keeping to your budget? Try these suggestions. They really help me keep on track. So, how did your party turn out? Did you stay within your budget? Were you even able to save some money? Budgets are great for getting you where you want to go with your money. You work with the money you have, and you know where every dollar goes. Now let's check out some other tools to help you with your money.
Where do you keep your money? In your wallet? Your locker? In a secret spot? Have you ever thought about maybe putting your money in a safer place? And what if you could get paid to keep your money where it's safe? Well, you can. At a bank. In a savings account. Let's check it out. In You and Your Money, we saw how money comes to banks from many sources. The Treasury, businesses, and people. People use banks to keep their money safe, but they also use banks to earn even more money. They use savings accounts, which banks set up for you so you can save your money. So how do you make money through a bank? The good news is that many banks pay you to keep your money in the bank. That's right. They pay you what's called interest. In other words, you make money on your money. You're paid a percentage of the amount that's in your account. But banks also turn around and lend your money out in the form of loans. Remember, banks make money on your money when borrowers repay their loans with interest. So interest works either in your favor if you're saving or against you if you're borrowing. The amount of interest you can earn varies from bank to bank and depends both on the kind of savings account you have and also on how much money is in your account.
Are you saving money for anything special? I'm saving for my own computer. It's going to take some serious saving to get there, but I'm saving. The money keeps adding up. Banks offer several types of savings accounts. My savings are in a regular savings account at the bank. I earn interest that's paid every month. Another safe savings account is called a certificate of deposit, or a CD. Your money must stay in the account for a fixed period of time, also called a term. But in return, you'll get a higher interest rate than you would with a regular savings account. And finally, there are money market accounts. They're really savings accounts that allow you to write a limited number of checks. You'll get to know about checking accounts in a bit, but for now, just know that money market accounts generally have higher interest rates than regular savings accounts. Now see how easy it is to open a savings account. Just follow these 3 easy steps. Step 1. Gather the things you'll need. It's best to have a parent or guardian to help you open an account. The parent or guardian can co-sign your account, which means that they'll sponsor you. As co-signers, they'll need to bring 2 forms of current photo ID. If they only have one piece of photo ID, Their second ID may be a current major credit card or gas card. As for you, you'll probably need one piece of current ID with your picture on it, such as a student ID or a passport. You'll also need your social security number. ID requirements can vary from bank to bank, so be sure to ask your bank what forms of ID they require for you and your cosigner. Now comes step 2. Go online or visit the bank to help you choose an account. A regular savings account will probably be what you need, but you can ask the bank to suggest an account that's right for you. There may even be a special account just for teens. Be sure to find out how much money you'll need to open your account. Finally, you're ready for step 3. You've got your money, you've got your IDs, now go open your account. Simple, right? Now that you know how easy it is to open an account, I bet you want to know how to put money in and get money out so you can use it. Don't worry, banks make it easy. First, let's see how to add money, which is called making a deposit. At the bank, you start by filling out a deposit slip. A deposit slip is a form that tells the bank to put the money into your account. It's easy to fill out. You just put the date here and the money details here. If you're depositing cash, put the total amount in this block. If you're depositing checks, like, say, a birthday check, enter the check amounts here. Be sure to sign the back of each check. That's called endorsing a check. Now add everything up and enter the total on the subtotal line. If you want to get cash back from your deposit, put that amount here. You'll need to subtract it from the subtotal. Now put the total here, but don't sign the slip just yet. A bank teller has to watch you sign, and you'll have to show a picture ID to get cash back. Be sure to keep your receipt. You'll see why later. Now it's your turn to put $25 cash into your imaginary account. Just make up an account number for now. In real life, you'd give the completed deposit slip in cash to the teller, who would then give you a receipt and take care of the rest. That's all it takes to make a deposit. About savings accounts, let's take a look at what it would take to save up for these items. When you've finished, ask yourself how long it will take to save up for what you really want. Another tool for keeping your money safe and easy to access is called a checking account. Checking accounts usually don't earn interest, but they give you greater access to your money. A checking account is just as easy to open as a savings account. In fact, opening a checking account will probably require the same IDs as you need for a savings account. But before you and your parent or guardian head to the bank, be sure to ask what information they require. Checking accounts are for money you spend day to day, and banks provide checks so you can use your money without using cash. When you open a checking account, your bank will probably offer you the opportunity to apply for an ATM card and/or a debit card. Both are safe, convenient ways to get cash, make deposits, and transfer funds. You may be able to use your debit card to make purchases if the merchant accepts it. Every time you make a transaction using an ATM card, debit card, or check, save the receipt you receive and record the information in your register. A check is a piece of paper that formally asks the bank to pay someone some money from your account. People use checks to pay for groceries, rent, and other bills. But be careful. Checks should only be written if you're sure you have the money in your account. If you don't have the money, the bank will charge you an expensive fee, and the company you wrote the check to might charge you another fee. Ouch! All in all, it costs a lot to write a check for money you don't have. Plus, it's against the law. Like savings accounts, you'll get a monthly statement from your checking account. Take a closer look at this statement. You can see the number and the amount of each check you wrote. You can also see the deposits you made. And if you pay an account fee, you'll see it here too. On the back, there's a worksheet. We'll use it in a minute. The next step is to balance your checking account. It's simple. In just a few steps, you'll be sure that all your deposits and withdrawals during the last month are recorded in your checkbook, and that you've done all the calculations accurately. When you're done, the balance on your statement worksheet should be the same as the balance in your checkbook. In other words, they should balance. Get it? If they don't balance, then this exercise helps you find out why. It may be that some of your checks or deposits in your register aren't on your statement. That's because the checks weren't processed by the bank before the statement date. But don't worry, they'll show up on your next statement. If you use online banking, your account activity is usually updated daily, or even immediately, so you can quickly find out whether a check or deposit has cleared your bank. So let's start balancing. Start by comparing your statement with your check register. Look at the withdrawals from your account and verify that all the amounts are correct. And remember your receipts for withdrawals and other transactions? Check them against your statement too. This is why it's so important to keep your receipts. Now, in your register, put a check mark next to the transactions that have been processed. Next, update your checkbook to include those items on your statement that you may have missed entering. It looks like nothing's missing here. Now, in part 1 of your worksheet, enter the ending balance found on the front of the statement. Then, in part 2, add up any deposits that are in your register but don't appear on this statement. Remember, some checks may not have cleared the bank before the statement date. Now calculate the subtotal of parts 1 and 2 of the worksheet. Next, add up any checks or transactions that are in your register but not on the bank statement. Subtract part 4 from part 3 and enter the answer here. If you've recorded accurately and have done all the calculations carefully, the ending balance in part 5 should be the same as the final balance in your check register. It should balance. Savings and checking accounts can really help you be in control of your cash, but they're also a big responsibility. With a savings account, the idea is to keep your money in the account where it can grow, and with a checking account, you have to be sure you have enough money to spend. You might not want these responsibilities until you're over 18, but even so, it's good to learn to manage your money now, so it will be easier later. We'll look at this a lot more closely in Credit and You. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word credit? Let me guess. Credit cards, right? You hear the word all the time, but did you ever ask what the word credit really means? To put it simply, credit is about borrowing money. You know, like borrowing money to buy something now if you don't have the cash yourself. Think loans. Think credit cards. It sounds great, doesn't it? With credit, you don't need to have money in your budget. You can just borrow it, right? Sorry, wrong. I mean halfway wrong. As you'll see, yes, credit gives you purchasing power, but only if you respect it. If you do, you'll have what they call good credit. But if you go out of control with your borrowing, you'll have bad credit, which can seriously affect your future. Let's check out the difference between good and bad credit, and why you should care. When was the last time you borrowed money? Last weekend, I borrowed money from my friend Alicia to share a pizza. I think I paid her back. Anyway, she'll tell me if I didn't. Alicia didn't hesitate lending me the money because she trusts me to pay it back. I mean, neither of us has a lot of money, so trust is really important. Imagine if Alicia or I went to the bank to get money for what we really want. Something expensive, like a computer. Banks will lend you money, but only if you have a good credit history of paying money back. So here's the question. How can you establish a good credit history? Where do you start? Bad credit can cause you big trouble. And if you don't pay your credit card bill on time, that's what you'll have. And it's the same if you miss payments. You may have to pay even higher interest rates. Paying late or missing payments results in bad credit. So maybe you're thinking, why not get another card so I can have more money to spend? Well, it's not that easy, and it's not smart. Any other credit card company will look at your credit history to be sure you're a safe bet. So think about it. Having good credit is the key to getting things you want. A car, an education, a house. Good credit just makes sense. Bad credit is something you should definitely avoid. Adults also use banks to purchase big-ticket items like cars, homes, or education. Again, if you have good credit, the bank can help you with a loan, which is another type of credit. Loans are different from credit cards because they're for a fixed amount and are usually for a specific item. Plus, once you pay off a loan, it doesn't renew itself. Remember, with credit cards, it works a little differently. You're given a limit on how much you can borrow. You can charge up to that limit or charge nothing at all. And if you borrow it all and repay it, your credit is renewed, but only if you repay it. Once again, having good credit can help you get loans. With loans, like loans for a house or a car, you know exactly how much you're going to have to pay each month and for how long. It's smart to shop around for a good loan and get a good interest rate. Remember, an interest rate is how much money the bank is going to charge you to borrow their money. Generally speaking, the interest on loans is less expensive than the interest on credit cards. Okay, so maybe credit is a little ways off for all of us, but now is actually a good time to get ready for having good credit. It all starts with a budget, and that's something we can start now. If you think of your budget as money that you lend to yourself and you keep to the limits of your budget, later you'll have what it takes to manage credit responsibly. So now that we've looked at how to increase our purchasing power using credit, let's check out how to increase your earning power in smart investing.
How would you like to earn money without doing anything? Sounds good to me. Seriously though, as you'll see, when you invest, you can make your money work for you. You see, when you invest, your money can work much harder than it does in a savings account, so you may earn even more than just interest. Savings and checking accounts are great for cash you use day to day and for short-term goals or emergencies. But for the big goals, like your education or a home, investing is the way to go. That's when you'll need your money to really work hard for you and grow. Investing is something you'll have to wait to do until you're an adult, 18 or older. But just learning about investing now can help you strengthen your skills for future investing. Have you heard people talk about the stock market? People get real excited about it because stocks are a way to own pieces of big companies. When you invest, you become a shareholder. Think of a company you know and imagine owning some of their stock. Now imagine earning some of the money they earn. Now let's talk about the language of the stock market. Let's look at the HIJK company. The stock is referred to using its symbol, which is usually an abbreviation of the company name. A single stock in company HIJK is called a share, and people usually buy whole shares. A share is a piece of a company, and its value, or share price, rises and falls based on how much people will pay for a share. People will pay money for the stock if they think the company will be successful. If it is, its stock will increase in value, and sometimes the company will also pay its investors a dividend. That's when the company pays the shareholders a part of its profits. The idea behind investing is to pick companies that you think are going to grow and increase in value. The trick is to buy shares when the price is low, so you can sell them when the price is high. That's how you make money on your money. This is a stock listing you might see in a newspaper. Roll your cursor over this listing to learn more about what each column means. Do you like riding roller coasters? How about jumping off the high dive? That's taking a risk. When you invest, you're also taking a risk. After all, if a company does well, its share price will increase. If the company doesn't do well, the company's stock can lose value. What makes an investment risky? Lots of things. And sometimes they have nothing to do with the company itself. World events and trends can influence the price. So can government taxes and policies. Even consumers' and investors' optimism about the future of the economy can affect overall prices. So before you invest, do your homework. Study a company before you buy their stock. Look at what's happening in the US and the world. Ask yourself if those events will affect the company you want to invest in. Investing isn't for everyone because there's so much risk involved. Plus, you have to be at least 18 years old. Still, it's good to learn as much as you can, even now, so that later, if you do invest, you'll know what you're doing. And if you ever need help with investing, you can always talk with an investment advisor. If you'd like to get into the stock market, but you don't feel comfortable studying companies and how they're doing, there's still a way to invest. They're called mutual funds. When a group of people put their money together and pay a manager to buy stock from many different companies, they've started a mutual fund. When you buy into a mutual fund, you become an investor in many different companies. As a result, you don't have to watch the ups and downs of each stock. You just follow the overall value of the mutual fund. The idea behind a mutual fund is that it spreads risk. That means that if the fund invests in company A and its stock loses value, then another company in the fund, company B, may, on the same day, increase in value. The gains in company B may even cancel out the losses in company A, so you might not lose anything. Do you see how, by spreading the risk, the mutual fund can act as a buffer against losses? Of course, not all mutual funds gain in value. Sometimes more stocks in a mutual fund lose value than gain, and the value of the fund goes down. The stock market makes no promises. Remember, if you don't want to risk losses on your money, you can grow your money safely in savings accounts, certificates of deposit, or money market accounts. So now you've learned a thing or two about investing, and how dividends and capital gains can help you make money for your big goals in life. Reaching those goals will take time. The stock market doesn't increase every day, but over the last 50 years, stocks have generally gained value and earned investors more money than if they had invested in safer savings accounts. The more time your money is invested, the greater your chances to earn more money. You and I can start now with savings accounts. But when we turn 18, we can think about buying stocks. Time is definitely on our side.